Bitcoin has just entered historic phase 2 of the bull. In this video, I want to give you a detailed analysis of price targets for this phase and timelines for this phase so you can maximize when to take profits. And if you're still looking to enter Bitcoin, I may have the absolute golden ticket for when you should enter at the perfect time possible. Phase 2 breakdown and what happens next and more in today's video. Welcome in if you're new. My name is Steve. On this channel, we don't take any paid ads, no paid sponsorships, no paid affiliate links down below. What do we do instead? Talk about the cold hard facts and the charts that actually help you. The only thing I ask in return is that you hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button. We're on a road to 500,000 in this bull run and I need your help. Join the movement. Before I tell you about this chart right here, there's going to be a bonus part in this video because I found a little clue, and that little clue is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to be a key to what is going to happen in January and February for Bitcoin. So I've never showed you this before. It's a chart that I haven't showed you in a way I haven't showed you, but it'll be a bonus in today's video later in the show. Let's get into the video. We're on the Bitcoin US dollar index. We're on the 2-week chart, and I have two concerns with these candles here, and then we're going to get to all of our price targets and break down how long are we going to be in phase 2 and what's going to happen after. What I want to suggest first is that we understand the structure of these phases. Very, very simply put, and we've explained it in a couple videos, but just a quick recap so you can get even more knowledge. What we have is the bottom of the market. The bottom of the market is always met with some heavy resistance. Normally that heavy resistance is also the support during this part of the downfall. Case in point, heavy resistance here, support during this phase. Case in point, heavy resistance here, support during this phase. So now that we understand the bottom of the market, when Bitcoin moves through this red line, it moves into what's called phase 1 of the bull. Phase 1 of the bull is built, it's structured directly on top of our prior resistance. So you break resistance, it becomes support. Pretty simple. We have support here. Now we reach the high price in this phase towards the beginning, and then we move sideways for 200 days. Case in point here, reach the high price here right in the beginning and then move sideways for a couple hundred days. Phase 2, again, reach the high price right in the beginning, move sideways for a couple hundred days. What did we do in phase 1? We reached the high price right in the beginning and we went sideways for a couple hundred days. Luckily, if you follow my channel, we told you exactly when we entered phase 1 of the bull. We also told you exactly how long it would be. We made an entire plan for phase 1 of the bull, including a retest of our base and including moving sideways for a couple hundred days. When we announced that news back here in April of last year, everybody laughed. Yeah, right. We're not in phase 1 of the bull. The bull run hasn't even started. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to come back to 10,000. Don't buy above 10,000. Everybody is waiting for 10,000, 10,000. I said it's never going to happen. And I said we just reached the highest price and we're going to move sideways for about 100 to 200 days. Why? That's what we've done every time before. And that's what happened. Now we're doing our full report, our full analysis for phase 2. What's going to happen? In order to understand this phase 2, as we are now about 70-ish days in, I want to get to the past phase 2s of the bull. Now let's get into phase 2. So we understand we're in phase 2. In order to better understand it, let's look at these two phase 2s that we had. One in 2012 and one in 2016. They both did the exact same thing. What they both did is they had this rally up to the top here, and then we actually went all the way back down to retest our base. Where is our base at this point? It's our prior resistance from phase 1. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. Think of it like walking up the stairs. When you walk up one stair, that stair is built directly on top of the stair you just came from. And when you go up to the next stair, it's built directly on top of that stair that you just left. Just like these phases in Bitcoin with full structure in place. So this phase 2 here came rallying all the way up to $15 and it crashed all the way back down to $7. That's a very large crash. These are large crashes inside of a bull run, retesting key key market structure. Now, all charts are the same. No matter if you're looking at the housing industry, it doesn't matter what you're looking at. Structurally, you have to respect market structure. And when we have phase two, we always come crashing down to the top of phase one to reconfirm that market structure, to continue having a healthy bull run. Same thing happened in 2016. Here's phase one, built directly on top of our prior resistance. Here's phase two, built directly on top of our prior resistance of phase one. Now, in phase two of this, we rallied up to the top price here, which happened to be about $800. And then we proceeded to crash all the way back down to 400 and something. A very similar crash to this phase two. Both of them had a peak, about a 50% crash here, and the phase two in 2016 was about 40%. So we have a 40% correction and a 50% correction in both of these phase twos. But again, what's very interesting is both of them had to correct down to retest market structure. Now, I mentioned this before. The only time that we didn't come back and retest our market structure was 2019. During this part of the bull run, we did not come back and retest market structure, which means we had to at the bottom of the market. We had to reconfirm our structure. This was a very healthy move for Bitcoin to retest its structure, which means for Bitcoin, either we're going to correct here, and I'm going to explain what price we could potentially correct to and when we could potentially correct. But for now, we have to understand one key sentence. In Bitcoin's phase two, either we're going to come back down and retest this base now within the next 100 to 150 days, or we're going to do it 2 years from now at our next market cycle bottom. Our next market cycle bottom will potentially be around this area of the top of phase one of the bull. So regardless, we have to test this structure at some point. Either we're going to test it in the near future or 2 years from now at the bottom of the market. It's that simple, but it's going to be tested. You have all of the facts right in front of you. There literally is no market structure in phase one or phase two that hasn't been retested in history of Bitcoin, period. And look at any charts in any industry, in any sector. Market structure, it's so critical, but it's overlooked because it's not sexy. But again, this holds all the answers. Now, what we also know is that so far we're 70-ish days into phase two. We also know that phase two back here took 189 days, and we know that this phase two was 196 days. One could say both of which are very close to 200 days. So if we went roughly 200-ish days from now, or around the same as before, you're looking at sort of an April to May timeframe, which means that from now until April or May, highly unlikely that we will get above 50K. Now, this may sound crazy because the ETF buzz is at an all-time high. There is so much hype in the market right now. And for me to sit here and say that these are the facts that the charts are telling me, this is not what I hope is going to happen. And I know to you, it sounds crazy that, wait, what? Bitcoin won't get above 50K for several more months? Like, how is that even possible? It doesn't even sound realistic. What I've learned about the charts is to trust the charts, not the narrative that is out there. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds completely left field, but this is what the charts are saying. We could reach as high as 50K. We could even wick up a tiny bit, but the point is we are in phase two of the bull. Phase two has a distinct area of resistance and a distinct area of support, and usually we spend between 1 and 200 days bouncing in that channel, and that's what traditionally has happened. It's usually not what people hope. It's usually not what people expect. Bitcoin always surprises people, so I want to be fully transparent. This is what the charts are saying. Now, in a moment, I want to get to that little tidbit that I landed earlier in the video where I said, you know, there's something in the charts that's going to be a bonus in today's video, something that I see building, something that a little key that I see momentum. We're going to get to that here in a second. What we can also say between now and April and May, it's likely that Bitcoin will come back and retest this base. The base is what's our resistance from phase one, which puts us at roughly between 33 and 30K. We'll call it below 35. So for Bitcoin, it definitely has a chance to get below 35K. It definitely has a chance, whether it's now or 2 years from now at our market cycle bottom, which means if you are in Bitcoin and you're in crypto and you're looking for a very good opportunity to buy Bitcoin, it's below 35K. I wouldn't time the market bottom and try to put your order in at 30K. Probably never going to get filled. I wouldn't put an order order in at 31K, probably never going to get filled. If you put an order in at 32K, it's highly likely not to get filled either. This is going to be a quick move every time we came into these sort of moves. Look at this wick. This is a short-lived time. Look at these wicks with these market structure. Another one here. It's short-lived. If you put a buy order at 35K, it's probably going to get filled. 35, 34K, that's more realistic of an opportunity. We're either going to hit it in the near future or 2 years from now, both of which would be incredible buying opportunities. I just want to make this abundantly clear. This is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor, but we're in phase 2. We're knee deep in it. Expect it to last till April or May. And we talked about it in the prior video of when we could potentially have a retest to the base. We talked about that 70-ish days from this pinnacle top here, which put us roughly in the February-ish time frame of potentially retesting our market base, which is around that, again, 33, 32 kind of K, again, below 35K. Watch February. Now I want to get to the bonus. This is a bonus part of the video. This is where I said I was going to show you something that I haven't shown you before, something that I see building in the chart, something that is a key to what is going to happen potentially in Bitcoin. So we go to this chart here, and what we see happening for Bitcoin in this chart right here is we see price reaches a high here, and then it reaches a higher high here. This is a high, this is a higher high. What we see in the RSI is we have a high here and a lower high. This is a chart I showed you a few days ago. On the weekly chart, we have some divergence potentially playing out. Anytime you're on a weekly chart and you see we've got this high, we've got this lower high, we've got this high, we've got this higher high. Okay, potential divergence. What I want you to do is level down in the time frame and see if it stands true. If it does, then we have something very serious. So let's go ahead and pop on the 5-day chart. 5-day chart, we have a high, higher high. 5-day chart, we have a high, lower high. And this lower high is actually even lower than this high. Let's level down again. Let's go to the 3-day chart. 3-day chart, we're looking at it like, okay, we had this high here, higher high here, it's still playing out high here, lower high here. Now let's go down to the daily chart so we can get a little bit granular about what we see happening. And the daily chart is very interesting. The daily chart is not divergence just playing out for, the last week or two. The daily chart is divergence, bearish divergence, mind you, playing out for quite a while, dating back all the way to here, where we had this high back in October 24th, this high here, and then we'd had a higher high and another higher high and another higher high. So 4 or 5 higher highs in price with 4 or 5 higher high, lower high, another lower high, another lower high, and another lower high. So we've got divergence forming. As I mentioned with the chart that we just looked at, we're in phase 2. As I mentioned, we're 70 days in. As I mentioned, it could go as high as 50K. As I mentioned, it needs to retest its market structure. It needs to retest here. What's one thing that could help it retest here? One thing that could throw a wrench into it? Bearish divergence. I mean, when you go down to the daily chart, it's heavy. It's heavy bearish divergence. As price is rising, our indicator, our RSI, is literally going down. That is a sign, that is a key to what is potentially to come. Again, nobody has a crystal ball, and I know that when I said Bitcoin could come all the way back down below 35, everyone in the comments was like, there's no way this is happening. This sounds complete insanity, especially with the ETF hype and everything going on. Bitcoin is about to explode and explode in a big way, and it just sounded absolutely ludicrous, like I was borderline crazy when I said Bitcoin could potentially go down below 35. But I don't try to tell you what I want to happen. I don't try to fluff it up. I tell you just the facts. I look at the charts like a book and I read it to you how I see them in an honest and open way, and this is what I see. So you can see some divergence playing out. Pay attention to that. It hasn't broken yet. You heard it here first. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you right back here in the next video. Peace and love. And by the way, thank you for all of your continued support. We're in a brand new year here. I just want to thank you for your continued support. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll see you right back here in the next video. This bull run is our road to 500,000 subscribers, but I need your help. Today, tell one person about our YouTube channel, how we spit facts, go against the herd, take no paid sponsorships of any kind. Road to 500,000, let's go.